Here I am. Hello, everybody. This is Let Us Reason Together. It's based on Isaiah 118. Come now and let us reason together, says the Lord. Though your sins are as scarlet, they will be as white as snow. Though they are red like crimson, they will be like wool. I'm going to have to put us on pause for a second because I'm trying to get David in. And so, Larry,
Yes.
talk to our people for a minute, and I'm going to go try to get David logged in. I'll be right back.
Okay. How's everybody doing? Usually we got everything ready to roll, but we've been having troubles with our computers lately. Most of us, I think, are getting ready for the storm that's coming in. I spent all day yesterday getting 2 outside generators ready,
Okay, well,
and
I don't know
and
where you're at. That's my problem.
and one I can hear David Mark in the background.
So in the other,
Um, and one electric, because we're supposed to get. I'm in lower southeastern North Carolina, and we're getting just the edge of the storm. I think David
yeah, that's
is
I give you shit.
going to be hit with the actual center of the storm. He's up in Southern Virginia. But anyway, um, that's the weather forecast for today.
Okay, now go to StreamYard.com.
And now the sports.
You're already logged into that.
Here's a partial score 1.
StreamYard.com.
And let us reason together. Don't know how to read. Anyways, we're doing a show,
You have a way to log
and
out.
this is part 2 of the show. And Mark will give you more of an intro.
It doesn't say
But
up there.
we're talking about the 3 of us being old people and looking back at how the world has changed since we came into the world. I'm trying to listen to Mark and do this at the same time, so that's why it's coming out so shaky.
At gmail.com.
We took the time to research and look back at the way that the world has been as we grew up and as we became young adults, and then as we became adults, and as we became what we are today, old people. And the reason why we call it the 70s show is because each one of us has now entered our seventh decade. That's what
producer login at gmail.com.
And pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. So we took some time to research and reflect on how things have changed.
I have no idea. You have to completely start over again. I have no idea where you're at.
Our first show, we talked about how the world, would we recognize the world anymore? And we came up with, let's see, I got my outline here.
Where are you putting that in at?
Where
are you putting that in? On the login? No. On StreamYard.
So we shared several aspects of what. On our last show, we shared several aspects of what we remember of the last 70 years. Mostly we talked about computers, how they have become the source of information instead of when we were kids going to the library and checking out books, or I don't know how many of you had parents that bought encyclopedia sets. My family did, and that was our source of information about the world around us. And the weird thing about it is when we got them, they were already outdated because of all the different changes that were going on in the 60s.
Welcome to live television. Oh my.
What goes on behind the curtain?
Yeah. Oh, brother, I'm so sorry to put you on the spot like that. But
there he is.
There he is. There he is.
Entered the studio.
All right. Very good.
Wow. It was easier getting my master's degree.
All right,
everybody.
Excellent. Well, let me finish my little intro spiel here.
I already did that. No,
you did it?
No.
Oh, I was going to say you have my outline, so all right. So I already went through though your sins are as scarlet, they will be white as snow. Though they are red like crimson, they will be like wool. So, do you recognize the world anymore? Is it flat? Is it round? Is it flat and round? Maybe like a pizza. This is just one of thousands of theories that have surfaced in the past 70 years. But what or who won't you find as a theory is Rabbi David Weiss, Larry Segeri, and myself, Mark David Smith. We are very real and have lived well past our 70th birthday. And are we Neanderthals? Are we dinosaurs? Emphatically, no. But before the three of us are discarded as ancient geezers or curmudgeons, the three of us old guys are going to share what we've experienced in the past 70 real long years of living in this cruel world. And for the most part, all three of us have spent most of those 70 years serving the one and only true God, the God of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. On our last show, we shared several aspects of what we remember of the last 70 years. Mostly we talked about computers and teachings, and David talked about using projectors back in those days, and we talked about connecting to real people and internet. Everyone on the internet has their own truth and all that. And we talked about being monitored all the time, AI, Alexa, crime and punishment, phones, all those different things we talked on the first episode of the 70s show we're talking about. Rabbi David, Larry, and I have been doing this Friday version of the Let Us Reason Together show series for 3 full years this coming March. We've gotten to know each other through our discussion topics on the show. Today, we continue a study called That 70 Years of Change Show. Rabbi David, Larry, and I have put together our look at the past 70 years. Basically, if nothing had changed in 70 years, we'd have to go on to the next topic. So, anything you guys want to add to that introduction there? Things we talked about last episode.
I think it's real interesting when we talked about communication and phones, how things have changed so much.
Yeah.
I was watching a news program, and everybody's got a phone, and you can't do anything without someone sticking their phone up and putting you online. It just hit me that things aren't like they used to be. There's no privacy anymore.
Yeah.
It really changed my teaching career. And because my kids were in an AP class, advanced placement, and had to take a national exam, I noticed right away, really, because the only change that made their scores go down was the presence of phones, and the kids just constantly being distracted by it. Their scores went down. I said, it's time to retire after 37 years in the classroom. So, unless people can just put their phones down and not be so attracted to it, they're going to be distracted for what they're supposed to be doing. I don't know what's going to happen with the workforce productivity in this country. It's, if there's a mark of the beast, I think the mark of the beast is coming in a very subtle way, one we didn't expect it. Everybody thinks the government's going to make you get a SKU code on your imprinted on your arm. I think it's going to be a lot more subtle, and I think it's that attraction to the distraction to the phone.
My first thought that comes to me, and I think about this all the time, is what's the average cost of an iPhone, or what is it? What's the other one? An Android? What's the average cost? $600?
$1,200. I mean, a good one is $1,200.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, but how many people do you see with phones like that, and how many people do you see that can barely survive otherwise? They're on food stamps and they're on all these other things, and and yet they complain every day about the cost of this and the cost of that. But every one of them has $600 to $1,200 phones.
Mm-hmm.
Where and how did they get that?
Oh, they don't. It's on credit. They'll pay.
Credit. There you go. There's another topic
Yeah.
for this discussion. But yeah, it's unbelievable where we're at today with the phone deal, and the majority of the people in the world have a phone.
Yeah. You watch newscasts, and I can see people in Gaza, who are starving and stuff, and they have phones. And it's like, I can't afford those.
I know it. I know, and so that's just crazy. How things have gotten so far. So stop and think here. This is something I've been thinking about and going over, and making notes and everything. Is so what would the world be like today? What would our lives be like today if the cell phone had not been created? If we were still using landlines, what would that be like today? You imagine how easy it is for us to get a hold of each other on the move.
Yeah.
And what it was like before not being able to get a hold. Emergencies and all kinds of things that and non-emergencies. I mean, just getting a hold of my wife while she's out shopping, and I think one more thing she needs to get at the grocery store. The only problem is that our phones don't work in Walmart. They don't. We're with T-Mobile, and Walmart has some kind of alignment with Verizon, that they carry a Verizon server in the Walmart stores. Where if you have Verizon, you can use your phone, do whatever you want to. But if you have any other carrier in a Walmart store, you're not going to be able to use your phone.
Unless you have Walmart Plus.
Walmart Plus, there you go.
So wait a minute. Wouldn't you just instead of using internet, wouldn't you just log off internet and use 5G with whatever phone you have?
No.
Doesn't work. It's blocked.
Yeah.
Try it next time you're shop at Walmart.
No, I mean because we had Verizon, and then Verizon. Anyway, we switched to T-Mobile, and ever since then we haven't been able. But anyway, I mean, it's just, isn't that crazy though, what they do to, even it's competition between phone carriers.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and one other thing I want to bring up, because we haven't talked about how the phone, how it affects a person's spiritual life. So, obviously with a phone, you can look up a lot of people do have access to word studies and to have a Bible on their phone. I mean,
Yeah.
it is very convenient
Uh-huh.
in that regard, and that's a plus. On a negative side, I've noticed we have a small congregation where everybody knows what everybody else is doing. When somebody sneezes, everybody turns to the person and says, "God bless you." We have 40 people on a Shabbat, and the 40 people are engaged. I don't see the people sitting in the back, if they sit in the back at all, being on their phones. Visitors might do that, but we've heard in churches that sometimes there'll be people that just come in and just are 1 day a week worshipers. And I think the people who are just there to put in time, be with family, make an appearance, I think those people would be more likely to not listen to a message and be affected in a positive way spiritually. I think they're more likely maybe to have their phones out, unless it's shunned at churches. I don't know. I don't go into big churches much.
Yeah. It's more like a quantity, not quality, that you're talking about here. In other words, they're racking up points because they showed up.
Yeah.
Not anything out of it.
And a cell phone's brother is probably Zoom. Zoom kind of ruined a lot of people. During COVID, people got real lazy with getting out when they could Zoom something. And they'll say, "Is your service going to be on?" We hear this a lot.
Yeah.
That's why our population, we used to have maybe 40 members and about 30 visitors every week.
Really?
And the visitors have dried up because they don't want to leave their house. They'd rather see it in Zoom in their pajamas. You don't even see their face. There's just a blank screen or an avatar that's up there too. So, people are getting less connected when it comes to their a spiritual community as well.
The other thing about phones and spirituality is there is such a mass amount of different comments about spirituality. If you're just checking out, say, Messianic congregations, they're all over the place, and you really have to do your research in order to find out what they're all about. But people don't do that. and you can be led down the wrong path.
Well, fortunately, you can vote with your feet, and if you go to a place and you're visiting and you don't like what you hear, you can just leave.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a variety of places, you guys live in places where there aren't a lot of Messianic congregations, or you have to drive maybe an hour and a half to get to one, and so I can understand why you might Zoom a service then, or maybe have a home fellowship or something like that,
or watch it on Lamb. We hold several services on Lamb, so
yeah, and that's good.
You mentioned so that they can stay home and watch it in their pajamas. Well, the pajamas deal is a whole nother topic in itself. Have you been to Walmart lately? They don't have to
my pajamas.
Watch things in their pajamas, because people don't care whether they're in their pajamas or not. Just go to Walmart.
Well, I've done that only like 6 o'clock in the morning when they used to have 24 hours.
Oh, I'll wear sweats. I mean, I have. If I'm in a hurry, I'm going to pick one thing up. I'll go in my sweats. I don't have a problem with that. but it's not well. You don't want me coming in my pajamas.
No.
Anyway, all right, moving along. Yes, phones. My gosh, the difference in what we have today and what we grew up with. And do you remember the phones that your parents had?
Yeah.
Do you remember what kind of phone and where was it, Larry?
It was in the dining room on a little table. It's kind of like a little statue, the rotary phone,
Okay.
and it was connected to the wall,
Mhm.
and it would ring. And when I hear people's ringtones now, it's like,
Yeah.
some of them still have that
Yeah.
ring.
Yeah.
But it was a heavy thing, and when you picked it up, you wanted to put it down right away. So the headphone was different. It was heavy too, but it was a solid thing, man. And when you dropped the headphone, everybody in the house knew it. What are you doing? I was like,
Wow.
okay. So, and then I think it was in my teenagerhood, we got one on the wall, and that was pretty cool because you could just hang it right down on the setup there.
Mhm.
And as time went on, we got longer and longer cords too. We talked about this last time. Right?
Yeah, we mentioned long cords.
Yeah.
Do
So,
you ever watch? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say you couldn't. The longer the cord, the less that you could misbehave in the other room when your mom was on the phone.
Oh, and you had to wait your turn. Like, when are you going to get off the phone? It's like one bathroom in the house,
Yeah.
Come on, get out of there. Or
Yep.
we just had less, and we made do with less. And,
Yeah, your older sister was always on the phone.
right? How'd you know?
But talking about long cords, remember the cords were
Yeah.
there's a word for it where they it's kind of not an accordion, but they're round so they can stretch. But when you hang it up, it's in a smaller lump right there.
That was pretty cool.
Have you guys ever seen the intro to Monk? You ever watch Monk?
Yeah.
And he has on one of his intros, he's sitting like at a jail talking through the glass to somebody, and his phone has that cord, and he stretches it out so that it's not all curled up. And every time he moves it, it curls back in.
And it drives him crazy.
It drives him crazy, folks.
In those days, that's what we used to call a cell phone. It was the one call you got in the jail cell. They'd pass you the phone through the bars.
Oh yeah.
That was the cell phone of old.
That's good.
Exactly. Exactly. So, David, what kind of phone did your parents have?
Gosh, you brought back such memories.
Yeah.
Well, we had a
we
we had a 2-story house. You could say a 3rd story because there was a basement. It was in Connecticut, and there was only one phone in the house, and it was on the middle floor. So when you'd hear it ringing, somebody would have to, if they were in upstairs or in the basement, they'd have to go running up or running down to catch it. But usually people would just let it ring.
Mhm.
But, we didn't even have the message machines in those days, the recordings.
Uh-huh.
And so, it all depended on the patience of the person on the other line.
Uh-huh.
We didn't get scam calls either. They didn't have scammers or phishing back in those days. So when the phone rang, it was really somebody you knew or somebody that needed to get a hold of you for who knows what, a doctor or a business that was calling you. But, we just didn't use phones much because as kids, we wouldn't call anybody. We'd go out of the house, walk up the street, knock on the door.
Yeah.
And Timmy, come out and play. We didn't use phones as kids.
Yeah.
I mean, who would we call? So
teenagers, the more I became the more I grew up, the teenager and later years, I used it quite a little bit. And then, of course, they used that as a form of grounding.
So,
Yeah.
you get in trouble. No, you can't use the phone for 2 weeks or
Yeah.
whatever, type of thing. My parents had one, ours was always in the kitchen, and it was a rotary phone sitting on the desk there. But I remember more of the one hanging on the wall, with a long cord. You could stretch it to the living room or to the back door, or whatever you wanted to do. But mostly it was in the kitchen, so my mom could hold on to it while she was doing stuff in the kitchen. And
And when houses were built, they were built with generally one phone line for small houses in the past, one phone connection, and then
Right.
somebody thought of the idea, put a phone jack in every room when you design a house, and then everybody had their own phone, and then families would, not talk to each other because they'd be on the phone in their room.
That's right.
Yeah, but see, there's your next progression in phones, is when phones started having their own cords with a jack on the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
See, because the earlier phones were wired directly straight through. When they put it into your house and then somebody installed your phone, they had to hook up all those wires in there, and your phone was done. It was set. There was no taking it somewhere else and plugging it into something. It was wired in.
Yeah.
So it was only after they started making it where you had your jack
Plug in,
later that you could do. And then they started, I'm not so sure, I don't remember that you couldn't buy a phone at a store like Walmart or whatever. You couldn't. It was you picked out the phone you want when you got it all installed, and that's what you had until they came up with jacks, and then you could buy different phones because you could now plug them into those jacks.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yep. When you got a phone, the phone company came out with your phone, and that was it. That was it.
You do know that just to have an internet account, an internet, with a provider, first of all, you have to have a phone number. They give you a phone number, and that's what your internet goes through. So everybody actually has, look at Larry. You actually have a phone number that if you wanted to hook it up to your modem, you could, and use a landline through that, because you have a phone number. Everybody does. Every single account has their own separate phone number.
I didn't know that.
You do. You do. Most people don't use it. There's a lot of people do. I know people that do. But and a lot of times they don't even tell you what that number is, because most people aren't going to use it. So all kinds of things today that were so different, but yet are still kind of lingering yet still today.
Mm-hmm.
So when I call my brother in Europe on WhatsApp, is WhatsApp a phone line or what?
No, WhatsApp is literally you're using an internet connection with sound, is what those apps are.
Kind of works like a phone.
They're exactly the same thing as what we're doing right now.
Oh,
and they, even the WhatsApp, I don't know yet, but I know there's a couple of them that work the same way as what we're doing, where you have actually video that you can use because you're on your computer, right?
yes, unless you can choose. You could choose the video or they have a phone icon on WhatsApp. So you could choose not to see somebody or let them see you if you just want to talk on it. And it rings like a phone. It's got a, that's.
Yep. It's amazing what you can do. But I mean, look, you mentioned Zoom, and Zoom actually exploded during COVID. But before COVID, it was Skype. Everybody was using Skype. As a matter of fact, that's how Lamb Radio did our broadcasts was through Skype. If you were doing your own broadcast on Lamb Radio before we became video, you would call in to the station with your Skype and do your show over Skype. We'd heard of Zoom, but it was hardly ever used during the Skype years. And then for some reason, and I think it had to do with marketing of Zoom, is it just exploded. Everybody started using it instead for everything. Could be ease of access. I don't know. But Skype changed so much in 2018. They completely reworked it to the point we could no longer do our radio shows on Lamb Radio. And that's why I spent 3 months literally developing the video system that we're using today, because Skype changed so much. It was hard for us to connect and do our radio shows. So
Well,
it's just that much of a change. And now look at where we're at.
yeah.
We're actually using a software called StreamYard, and there are several other ones. There's just physically hundreds of different places you can go and get an account and pay for it and broadcast like what we're doing. So
Now,
I've
if you
been doing it before everybody else was.
Yeah. If you go back to when we were kids, there was a comic strip that, we all read the newspapers, daily newspapers. There was a comic strip called Dick Tracy.
Right?
He
Yeah.
had watches in which he could
Oh, that's
talk
great.
to people, and
That's great.
the picture of them would be on there. And we all thought, it's like, whoa, that's never gonna happen. Nothing like that. That's weird. And I don't know. Maybe he knew something that we didn't know that was already in the works.
Uh-huh.
But it's crazy. I talk about Dick Tracy all the time with my kids, and they have no idea what I'm talking about. I got my Dick Tracy watch here. I don't know that brand, Dad. It's like,
Yeah.
never mind. It's not LLB.
Dick Tracy brand. Oh, that's great. They should come up with that. That's good.
They should.
That's good.
But yeah, things have really changed with communication.
Well, now, Get Smart used his shoe.
Yeah.
So, there's
Yeah.
we haven't
We have to explain what Get Smart is too.
there we go. We haven't quite progressed to that point yet, I guess. But anyway, we're not secret agents, I guess.
Speaking of television shows, how has television changed over our 70 years? I mean, I remember the Dick Van Dyke Show and seeing them in their bedroom with 2 separate beds.
Uh-huh.
And it's like,
Uh-huh.
why are they doing that? Well, they're not allowed to show them in the same bed because the people that analyze the shows wouldn't allow that. It's like, okay, so they had to have separate beds so that you wouldn't even have the thought of what goes on in our television shows nowadays.
Uh-huh.
There were codes back then, and
Yeah.
those codes, and I guess the next generation came along that said, man, I was restricted as a child, and now everything up. And they do allow cursing, and they allow some aspects of nudity, and it's violence, and nowadays that's all you kind of see on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you used to have what were called family shows, and they would be broadcast from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And then after that, you would have the adult shows. And now, all you have is up in the upper left-hand corner of the television set what you're going to be seeing, who it's rated for. 14 and above
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
contains partial nudity, and I love when they put down language.
Yeah.
It's like, well, how could this isn't a silent movie? Of course they're going to have language,
Oh, yeah. Of course.
but they mean profanity, but they put it down as language. It's like, okay.
Oh yeah, it's the biggest deal, I think, and when it comes to TV, and we're actually intermingling internet and TV and phones together, because on your phone you can watch TV.
Yeah.
The change, the biggest change came with on demand. So you want to talk about television and internet, and that is what has changed so much, is the ability to have on demand. Because I'm on TV, first of all, there were only 3 stations: ABC, CBS, and NBC. That was it when we were growing up. That was it. And what then cable came out, and what was it? Somebody Neil Young or Bruce Springsteen, somebody came out with a song that says 199 television stations and there's nothing on.
Yeah. Oh, you're forgetting UHF. Remember when UHF came?
Oh yeah, sure.
That's when public television got on.
Yeah.
And I can remember sitting in classroom watching an actual classroom on television with PBS. How much has PBS changed from that now?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Well,
yeah. So we went from VHS to UHF or whatever it is, then to cable. And you're right, 199, and there's nothing. There's nothing now.
Oh yeah. I remember. TV was so huge in my growing up. Do you remember black and white TV?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember all the shows and nothing was color?
Yeah.
Do you remember, David? David's?
No. I'm just my memories are streaming. Larry, you mentioned a bunch of shows, the family shows 8 to 10, but you kind of forget about the stay-at-home crowd that would watch General Hospital in the 1960s,
yes.
and all the soap opera stuff. But again,
and game shows.
The game shows. That's right. Yeah, the game shows were kind of fun.
Gosh. Well, game shows. My gosh, my wife and we love our game shows. I mean,
that survived. I mean, they still have soap operas today. I guess they're still on.
Yeah. They're still going. I don't know anything about them because I've never watched them, but a lot of them are still going. A lot of internet shows. My gosh, most of the stuff I think that's on TV is soap operas. You have to stay up with the story to even watch them. But oh my gosh, black and white. I remember the NBC Peacock and the color change. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I remember when my dad bought our first color TV, and the first thing I remembered was NBC had Disney on Sunday night.
Yep.
And that's where the color came in, was in Disney, and that NBC Peacock, and then Disney would come on with their exploding color and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I remember. I mean, I don't even know how old I was when that first color TV.
Speaking of Disney, how has Disney changed?
Oh, I don't know if it's changed at all. They were crazy at the beginning too. So anyway, I agree. Yeah.
But I used to be able to show Disney movies in my classroom for historical purposes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And You know, it was like Johnny Tremaine and that kind of stuff for American history. And now you can't get a Disney movie to get into the classroom, because even if it's a historical language and all the other things that are up in the upper left-hand corner,
Yeah.
you just can't do it.
Yeah. Huh.
Well,
Wow. Yeah. That has changed in the negative so much. Just even random. I mean, it's like they'll even just show, just insert an F word one in the middle of the whole show. You know, well, you just ruined the whole show. You know, I mean, I can still watch it, but you didn't have to put that in.
Yeah.
Type thing.
yeah, you know, speaking of that, like I was watching the news, and after the Minneapolis shooting, the mayor of Minneapolis got on and said the F word, and they didn't bloop it out. And
I know it. I know.
I'm thinking, where are the 10-second censors?
Yeah.
Why would they allow that to come on?
Exactly.
So I guess, you know, the language has changed
Oh
as
yeah.
well. I don't know. Do you think people cursed less back in the days when we were kids?
I don't remember my father ever cursing.
Well, I remember my father cursing, but he never used the F word.
No.
Never, ever. That's almost anymore, especially. I think the F word is in its own category.
Yeah.
All the other words are just randomly used, you know, anymore, and just randomly used by, you know, most people. It seems like the F word is a little different story, and who uses it and how much it's used. I think
It's been acceptable. By the new generation, it's accepted. It's a usable adjective.
You know, you bring up a good point here, and I remember talking about language in my psychology class and saying, you know, why is there so much power in curse words? I said, what if we just started, instead of saying the F word, what if we just substituted banana? Would you get in trouble if you said to your teacher, hey, banana you? And then kids were laughing, and they started saying it to each other. And they said, hey, Mr. Weiss, banana you. And I said, hey, you can't say that in here. Why words have such value, I don't know. But you know, that can change pretty quick too.
And going back to movies, the historical dramas now, going back to the 16th century or the 17th or 18th century, boy, do they put the F word in those too. And I'm thinking, no way. That's historically inaccurate. They wouldn't use it that much. And it's like, well, it's acceptable now. It's in the dictionary as an adjective.
Yep. I agree. Sorry, I'm going through my notes here because
So what we got here is a moral dilemma.
I don't know about that.
Freedom has been changed in the definition. Freedom used to be you are allowed to live the way that you live, without government interference. And there were moral standards, though. Now freedom is freedom of moral standards.
It's what our kids and adults are exposed to.
Yeah.
Social media, the whole thing. Now, see, our social media back when we were kids was television, you know, or, you know, talking to our friends or whatever like that. Physical, you know, having access to people somewhere around the world was just not even thinkable, you know, to us growing up at all.
Yeah, I used to receive airmail letters and from foreign countries, but you couldn't communicate with them except through letters.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember the onion skin airmail letters?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't.
there. Well, you probably never had any people living in other countries then. No, you never received any airmail, or your family never received it.
Airmail, yeah, I know airmail.
Okay, and they wanted it real light, so they used onion skin
Really?
paper. Yeah,
Huh. How about well, I didn't know that.
yeah.
I don't remember that. At
So
all.
that's how we received international mail and stuff like that,
I see.
through airmail.
Right. Right. Well, yeah.
No, I was,
Well, TV and movies and everything now are on the internet. They're on your computers. Computers. I mean, we if we could jump over to computers and internet,
Mhm.
how has computers changed our lives? Do you remember your first computer and what you used it for?
My first computer was actually a Brother word processor, and all it did was type and print out.
Yeah.
But the printing was, and when the printer would work, it was a 9-dot printer. It would print out one word at a time, like somebody was typing really fast. We thought, like, this is great. This is a whole lot better than putting in a paper on an old Olivet typewriter and typing it out. You
Mhm.
make a mistake. What do you do? You know. But anyway, I'm going back further than computers. The first computer had a half. I think it had 500 megabytes, not gigabytes.
Mine
500
too.
megabytes as its hard drive,
Yeah. Mine had 500 megabytes. That's right.
and it was a $3,000 computer as well.
Uh-huh.
We were happy to have it.
Uh-huh.
The ability to look on the internet, look anything up, was pretty amazing and outstanding. It was like an encyclopedia in some ways,
Yeah.
if that's how one wanted to use it.
Huh. Yeah. Larry's trying to figure out what it is for.
Yeah. I don't. I think. I never had my own computer. I think the first computer that we had in our house was when we bought it for our kids.
Oh,
Oh,
So
really?
they could use it. Yeah, because I use the school computers all the time.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I
You didn't
taught
have-
computers and stuff like that. And before '92, teaching computers was just teaching word processing, database, and spreadsheets.
Right,
Nothing connected with the internet,
right,
and that's what they were used for.
right.
And so I had no reason to have a personal computer at home. If I was going to teach, I'd do stuff at school, get it all done there.
Man, I had to have one. I had to have one. I when I first became able to buy one, it was an Apple. It was no, it wasn't. That wasn't the first one. The first one was a PC, but I bought it along with a book that had code, so I could enter all the code in and create my own video game.
Wow.
And this book had like 10 or 12 different video games, but you had to sit there and type all the codes in exactly the way it was, and when you were done you could sit there and use your keyboard controls and play.
Play the game. Yeah.
And that's the only reason that I had it. That was the first one. The second one that we bought was from my wife's parents, and it was a Mac we bought for $500 just because we wanted to get on the internet. And so that was our first computers. After that, I don't remember how they progressed to where we are. I now have 4 computers sitting within a foot of me.
oh,
So progression of where we were and where we are now is unbelievable. Kind of
You might.
depends on what you wanted to use it for, though. Go ahead.
My parents, born in 1916 and 1922. My mother just dying 2 years ago at the age of 102. Never used a computer or a cell phone in her life. Only if you handed her your cell phone and said, "Hey, so and so is on the line.
Yeah.
You want to say hi?" You know, but she even didn't even like using the remote control on the TV because she would mess it up and have to call the man to come in and push two buttons and say, "That's how you do it." So, technology is so different for our youth today. I'm not sure kids would know what to do with a physical book when they're used to swiping to turning a page. If they even would even know what to do with a book. I guess kids would. They still go to the library. I wonder if libraries will ever dry up. It's
I would hope not, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's the published book is still a huge thing in this world, huge.
Yeah.
And I just have such a hard time believing that a physical library where you can go in and look at books, buy them or check them out or whatever. It's so hard to believe that those would go away.
I remember one of the biggest thrills that I had in my first couple of years of college is taking the bus down to the Cleveland Public Library. It was a humongous building, and when you went in there, it was like a cathedral.
Yeah.
And you so many floors, and you had to ask, please tell me where I could find this a book on this kind of stuff, and they would send you'd get a card and stuff, and it was just an amazing thing to me. And
Wow.
I used to drive down there when I was teaching to get the movies and stuff that I would show in class and stuff. It's like,
oh yeah,
such a resource. And it was just a big thrill.
I think it's sad, but I think it's inevitable. It's going to dry up. You just compare the size of your own personal library to your children if they have a library and grandchildren. Nowadays, if kids can get a reading on the phone or on a Kindle, why buy a physical book and just wait out in the house? Why spend the money on? I mean, look, it's even hard to buy newspapers anymore. You have to go online if you want to read a newspaper. And so I think it's inevitable that books will eventually go away. And we'll still have we'll still have the essence of the book, but it'll just be in a different format. But I think holding a book and storing books and having space for books and buildings that are dedicated, I think that's all going to change. Libraries, I think, will fundamentally change. I think eventually they'll downsize them and the books will be gone. But
that brings me to the Library of Congress. Have you ever been in or seen pictures of the Library of Congress? Have you been in it, Larry?
Yeah.
5 of my books are in the Library of Congress.
Really?
Yeah, they're actually in there, and it's just massive. It's unbelievable. I mean, if we got rid of libraries, at least the Library of Congress would still be intact. That would be a huge thing to lose because of all that. I don't know if they digitize them or not, or what are they? That I'm sure they probably do.
Yeah. But the original stuff is still in there too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's,
Yep. Yeah, that's a good topic. There is books, because I know a lot of people that are still writing and publishing books, and they're going out there now. and I know a lot of people that read. I don't read anywhere near as much as I used to. Eyes and everything. And anyway, but I do know a lot of people that read. I just find it easier to do what we're doing.
Yeah.
than write a book about it, But
I think what's taken the place of libraries and bookstores is data servers. And now data servers is a big thing because they're taking up space. They use a lot of power, electrical power, and I don't know what's going to happen with data servers and how that's going to affect our communities.
What are data servers?
Oh my, you're so old.
Listen, you young whippersnapper.
Data servers, because there's so much data that's being produced and the data is stored and is kept, now they have these dedicated data servers, which are humongous buildings that, it's basically the place where all your personal stuff is archived on the computer. I mean, where does it go? When they save your emails, when they save this, where does it go? It goes into a data server that has to physically store and be able to call up information that used to be in books and on papers. Mm-hmm. So data servers are now storing all this mega information.
Where are they located?
Is being produced every single second, let alone every day. And the data servers are now taking up large amounts of land space because they have to be a physical building where stuff is kept. And they draw lots of power from the power grid.
Well, who owns them?
Private companies, I guess.
Got me. Did you ever see the movie Hidden Figures about the black women that?
Yeah.
Remember that program computers and in the movie they talk about these mega computers that they were working with and working on, and the government had these mega computers. Well, data servers today make those mega computers look like a thumb drive. I mean, they're just massive. They're
oh my goodness.
I think there's 3. If I'm not right, I haven't done research on it or anything. I'm just kind of going by what I remember. Anyway, we got to go. We're done with this hour.
Oh,
we need to hear what David has to say on the topic. And
what I'm saying is not digitized.
It's not digitized. There you go. Well, it will be here in about a half an hour, David. So, all right. Well, this has been great. Another one bites the dust, and we'll go on next week with some probably the same topics we're talking about now and expand on them and keep on going because they're so good. So.
Be careful with that phrase, another one bites the dust, because we are in our 70s,
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I don't know. When I work in my driveway, I'm biting dust all the time. All right, so we'll be back right after this.
My way's bad, my way is so bad. Your way's good, your way makes me glad. My way's bad, my way is so bad. Your way's good, your way makes me glad. HaTorah, HaTorah, Torah.
Shalom, shalom. It's good to be back after a few months off. And I am Rabbi David Weiss of Malchut Chaim Messianic Congregation. That would be Kingdom Impact Messianic Congregation in Chesapeake, Virginia. So if you're ever in the southwest part of Virginia or southeast Virginia or northeast North Carolina, we're right over the border, and you can just stop by on a Shabbat on a Saturday. We'd love to see you. Today we are in Parsha Bo, which means go. It also means come in or go out. And in Parsha Bo, which covers Exodus 10 to 13, basically, the middle of 13, we have the last 3 of the 10 plagues that Moses puts upon Pharaoh through God, of course. God, through Moses, puts them on Pharaoh. It's the last 3 of the 10 plagues. But there's a difference in the last 3 versus the first 7 in a way that maybe you haven't heard before. So in the first 7 plagues, Pharaoh basically is just turning down Moses, said, no, I'm not going to let them go. And then a plague would come. And Pharaoh would say, okay, I'll let them go. And then Moses would make the plague go away. And then Pharaoh's heart would be hardened. And then it would happen again and again, like over and over for 7 plagues. And then in the 8th, 9th, and 10th plague, they changed. Something changed. I would say the progression of how Pharaoh was sinning against God changed. So here's where the change occurred. In number 8, Pharaoh says to Moses, well, you're saying let us go, but who's going to go out? And Moses says, well, our young and our elderly, our sons and our daughters, we will go with our flocks and our herds, for we must have Adonai's feast for him. But Pharaoh said to him, the Lord will be with you if ever I let you and your little ones go. Look, you have some evil purpose in mind. No, go, the men among you, and serve the Lord, for that is what you are asking. And they were driven out from Pharaoh's presence. So at first, this is where Pharaoh progressed. In my mind, there are some people in this world that just want the pain of life's trials to go away. And sometimes they'll say, God, if you make this go away, if you heal me, I will be yours forever. And that's kind of what Pharaoh, well, he was tending towards that. He just said, okay, you can go. And he just wanted the pain to go away, the plague to go away. But later on, he's starting to deal with Moses. Well, some of you can go, but others of you can't. Later with the darkness, Pharaoh again tries to wheel and deal. And he says, well, all of you can go, but you can't go with your flocks and your herds. They're going to stay behind. And Moses said, no, we need them. We need the young and the old in plagues number 8 and 9. Plague number 8. We need the flocks and the herds in plague number 9. And what I see there, instead of just people who want to come to the Lord to make something difficult go away, which is not the greatest reason to come to the Lord. What we find with Pharaoh is there are people like Pharaoh who make compromises, who say, well, Lord, I'm willing to give up a lot in my life, but I don't want to give this up. I like smoking. I like drinking too much. I don't want to give it up. I like having a lot of girlfriends or a lot of boyfriends. I don't want to give that up. And so there are people like Pharaoh who want to compromise, I believe. And that's what the word is speaking to me this week, that in some ways the life of Pharaoh kind of mirrors that of how people want to come to the Lord. Not an all or nothing thing, but they want to come in bits and pieces and maybe hold a little back for themselves. So I want to bring my 2 friends in and ask them, have you ever met people that are like this, that don't want to give up everything to the Lord and they want to hold back a little bit for themselves?
No, never met anybody like that. No.
Are you being sarcastic?
Ultimately sarcastic. Oh my gosh.
You know, we've had people that come to our Messianic congregation, they visit, they like it, and they know that, like, yeah, why aren't we Christians celebrating the feast? And, when it comes to giving up a Saturday, it's like, but my kids' sports games are on Saturdays. And that's when we have family barbecues. And, and that's when we have family fun day. I'm not ready to give that up. the most basic thing is honoring the Shabbat. And Shabbat, God never changed it to a Sunday. That was man's doing. I know I'm preaching to the choir on this channel,
Yeah.
but people don't even want to give up Saturday for a Shabbat. And I really mean Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. It's America's play day. They don't want to give it up.
It's the weekend.
Yeah, but what about Sunday? What if you asked them to give up Sundays? Oh, that they wouldn't want to give up. No, Sunday's a holy day for an hour and a half. I got to have my hour and a half.
Yeah. Like Pharaoh, when I was young, I remember making deals with the Lord, or trying to make deals with the Lord. I remember in my 20s, after going to a liberal college, I was kind of, and taking courses like comparative religions and stuff like that. I was kind of on the fence about, does God exist? Is Jesus really God, and stuff like that. And I also was in the throes of baldhood, going bald. And I remember making a deal with the Lord. If you would stop this process, I will make you my Lord. I won't make you my God, but I'll make you my Lord, Jesus. And, I believe what we're talking about with the different plagues is a progression, as you said, of relationship. I started off that way. If you do this for me, I'll make you my Lord. And as time went on, I am where I am now, which is like 180 degrees from where I started out.
So
Did he stop you from going bald?
Yeah.
No.
He didn't?
No.
So
He
that
did
idea.
me. He did
Wait
me.
a
I
minute.
asked him too, and he couldn't make new ones come back, but he could stop it right there, so it didn't go any further.
I have a question. What's bald?
What?
Bald?
I'm kidding.
Whatever.
Did you see how he moved forward so that the camera was right on his hair? Excuse me, what is bald?
Hey,
I've been to Bosley. No, I haven't been to Bosley.
I'm not bald. You can't say that I'm bald.
Well, Larry, when you came to the realization that it was kind of silly and childish for what you asked for, if you did you ever feel like you had to repent of that?
Oh yeah, I was married, and we were in a family Sunday school class, and people were sharing things, and I just out and out said, I'm tired of carrying this burden. I'm no longer going to be upset with being bald. The Lord has shown me that that's not who you are. It's what you present to people. And in front of a bunch of families or couples, I just said, I repent of what I did when I was a younger person. So yeah, I repented.
Wow.
And it was a public thing too. So, and I felt such freedom after that. It's like, because everybody came up to me and go, it's okay that you're bald. It's like, stop talking about it.
Use a different expression. Maybe never mind. I can't come up.
Follicle regressed or something.
Yeah, regression or something.
Follically challenged.
Something positive.
That's it.
I like that what you pulled out there, and I'd never heard it from that point of view, though, of what you're giving as far as people are concerned. I mean, you had even mentioned in the first section of our show that a lot of people, you had about 40 normal or regular people and about 30 guests that would come in, but most of them just wanted to worship one day a week. Well, that's exactly what you're talking about. Those are the people that are stacking up
points for, they figure that, so after so many points, then I'll get to go to heaven. And so I'll do just exactly what I think I need to do for that. And I think you have kind of basically the same thing with Pharaoh talking here. The one thing that really stood out to me is Pharaoh said to them, Adonai certainly will be with you.
Yeah.
Well, if somebody secular said that to me, that opened it right up for me to tell them, well, you just acknowledged God. You just acknowledged that God exists, and that if you're going to acknowledge God, then you really have to acknowledge his lifestyle. You have to acknowledge what he has brought forth on how we're to live, and to only do the bare minimum so that you're getting to heaven. I don't want to be anywhere near you when you stand in front of God on Judgment Day. I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't want to be anywhere near you. That type of thing. And it's kind of like when we first found out all the things about the Messianic lifestyle and Sabbath and all that type of thing, I just don't think we had a whole big problem with it, in that it just kind of went over the pros and cons of changing our lifestyle and what it was going to take. And it's like, do we really believe in what the Torah is saying and how the Torah is laid out? Do we really believe that and want to acknowledge that, not only amongst ourselves and our congregation, but now we have to acknowledge that to the world around us, to all the different social things that we're involved in, our life, our work, the whole thing. It's not in the Bible, but I was always taught and still use it. No man goes into war without first counting the cost.
Yeah.
And to me, that is literally, because being a religious person and living a religious lifestyle is war. It's not easy. Until you acclimate to it and get to the point where you're living it like the three of us do, where we don't even think about it, we're just living it. But to get to that point is hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard. And I remember us talking about this, is that I literally used the expression, we're going into war. We have to count the cost here, because I don't want to I'm not the type of person to start something, get halfway through it and say, well, this is too hard. I'm not going to even try to reach the end of it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not that type of person. So if I was going to change my religious lifestyle, which, your religious lifestyle is also your secular lifestyle. To me, that's the way I look at it. If I'm going to change that, I'm going to go full force into it. And I can't go full force until I'm sure that I believe in the doctrines and the word of God, that this is what I need to do. I know there's different variations of lifestyles that people live, and different levels of lifestyles that people live, but whatever it is that you're going to acknowledge and sacrifice for, because that war is always sacrifice. Always. Whenever war is written out, they should have parenthetically sacrifice. because you can't have war without sacrifice. And so if you're going to change your lifestyle, then you're going to have to sacrifice some things. And you better contemplate that before you even start. So when people just do certain things like show up on Sabbath for the service, the Messianic service or whatever, and that's all, they don't want to really be involved. They want to sit in back of the congregation. My question is, do you really think that God checked off your list of things because you showed up? Is God checking you off of, oh, another positive point for you to get to heaven, so you'll keep adding them up? I'm sorry, I can't picture that. I can make it up, but I can't picture that. Anyway, does that answer? I think it kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the people who really just want to spend one day or maybe just 2 hours a week with the Lord and call it a week and then have the rest of the week to themselves. And I'm thinking, if they do it because they want to get to heaven, how are they going to be able to take heaven when they're around God on the throne 24/7? I mean, there won't even be 24/7. It's just all the time. I don't think they're going to like heaven a whole lot. If they get there.
You have to also consider, what are you judging them on? Because you're not with them the rest of the days.
Yeah.
So maybe they are living out Torah.
I hope they do.
Rest of the days, and they just show up in your congregation for that because they like the congregation. But
oh yeah. All the people I've met, look, if they're going into a Messianic congregation, that's such a step that's different from the norm for most religious houses in this country. And if they go to a Messianic congregation, they're taking a step that's going deeper into their a deeper walk with their faith. Yeah. And that's what I've found with most people who walk into a Messianic congregation, that they desire a deeper walk. And so I think generally there are people that even though they may feel like, well, I don't want to give up my Saturdays, I'm not going to categorically say that they're not godly people.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course. Makes me wonder though, Christians that only go to Sunday service and then they get to heaven. Do they say, wow, well, this is not what we prepared for? Whereas we Messianics, we believe that what we're doing in the lifestyle we live, when we get to heaven, it's just going to be the same with the everyday, which it won't be. It's going to be different, but at least we'll be prepared for what the lifestyle is in heaven, I guess I should say. I don't know. And I wonder sometimes when somebody dies that I know of, and I know their lifestyle, and I know that they wouldn't accept the Messianic lifestyle, and they were good Christians, they got to heaven. When they got there, did they say, wow, Mark was right?
I'm not going to admit it, but Mark was right.
I don't know. What I'm saying,
well,
I
think they're going to have to hit the throne of judgment first before. I think we all are. We're all going to be before the throne of judgment.
Of course.
And my goodness, I've been humbled so much in my life and had to bow down and ask God for forgiveness so much that I've even had dreams about the throne of judgment. And in every dream that I fall on my face. And I say, I'm not worthy to be in your presence.
Yeah.
And God always accepts me into his arms. And that's the dream. That's the recurring dream that I won't call it that recurring, but I've had it maybe 4 or 5 times in my life. Because to be before the creator of the universe, that he even has time for me, makes time for me, it's just, my humanity, it makes me fall on my face in the dream all the time.
I have one dream, just one dream, and I had it one time, but it has stayed with me ever since the dream, and I've explained it many times. And briefly, it's a dream of me in a cave, and there are loads of people just running around doing stuff. And all of a sudden, I come to a part of the cave, or like a separate room in the cave, where there's a huge hole in the ceiling, and all the people that were roaming around now come into this cave, and they're being caught up through this hole. And I'm sitting there watching them, but I don't go up through the hole. And when everybody's gone and I'm the only one left, I go walking through the cave, and I come into another room where there's this young Messianic boy that I knew several years ago. And he says, and I'm real sad. And he asked me, so what's the problem? Why are you sad? And I said, well, everybody else went to heaven and I didn't, and I don't know why. And he says, well, do you know John 3:16? And that was the end of the whole dream. So it's kind of like it was almost a fear factor thing of, are you sure that, this is the way to heaven? Is this how you do it? Is this what you're going to need to do, or whatever? Anyway, I've contemplated it many times over the years, but dreams like that is a one-time dream, but I remember it vividly even today. And that was like 10, 12 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, we're all going to make it.
Wow.
We're all going to make it.
Your cave reminds me of the Church of Ascension in Israel, where you go into this small round room. I think only about maybe 30 people can fit in it at most. There's no chairs, and there's a hole it has a rotunda at the top, and there was a hole in it. And they said who knows if it's really the place, but they said this is where Jesus was when he ascended. And it's really quite amazing.
Yeah. All in where our brain goes.
Which brings me back to the Parsha.
Yeah.
And one thing that I was thinking about when you're talking, David, when Moses went to Pharaoh,
3 minutes, by the way.
okay, he said, the Lord says, let my people go so that they might worship me. And I'm wondering, I wonder how, speaking of progression, I wonder how Pharaoh's concept of what Moses said to him changed over the time. I mean, he didn't just say, let my people go. He said, let my people go so that they may worship me. And Pharaoh's idea of what that meant obviously changed over time, to the point where he said, get out of here, go.
It's interesting. When I looked at the Hebrew, it's always written as let them worship me. But actually, the Hebrew word that's used for worship is avodah. And so in better Bible translations, it's send the people out that they may serve me. And so Pharaoh was one who believed in a pantheistic system of gods. That's why he would go down to the Nile to do an offering to the Nile River god, and he did offerings to the sun god, and he had all these slaves, of course. And I think he came to realize that he didn't know that there was this other God that existed that Moses introduced him to. He didn't, but he still believed in his other gods. He just thought, well, I don't know your
Right.
God,
Right.
and he did get to know Moses' God. And eventually he had to realize, I'm not as divine as I thought I was.
Hmm.
He really had a comeuppance, and when he sent Israel out, it was, I'm not so divine that I can keep these people here serving me. Their God wants them to serve him. So I'm going to have to release my slaves, so they'll go and be the Lord's slaves somewhere else.
Mhm.
Um,
And then he changed his mind too.
he regretted what he had done, and he went back to either kill them or to bring them back.
Yeah.
We got to go.
Okay.
We got to go. We got to go. It's time.
Well, thank you, David.
Sorry. Yeah, that's really good, David. Really good. I see it as the Lord said to Moshe that he was making them hard-hearted so that I can demonstrate these signs among them. So to me, it was like every time he did it, Pharaoh grew closer and closer to understanding Adonai.
Mhm.
And so he had to keep doing it so that he got the point. Anyway, we'll be back next week, and all of us will be here, and be another great show, and we'll see you then. So God bless everybody. See you then. Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov.
If you missed today's show or want to watch it again or want to tell someone where they can watch this episode, go to lambnetwork.tv, where you will find this show and all other live Lamb Show archives in the on-demand section of the website. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to tell somebody about the Messianic Lamb Network.
They should be white as snow, white as snow, white wool.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.